Shiitake mushrooms represent something quite remarkable when we examine them through both culinary and nutritional lenses, and I think they deserve far more attention in Western Mediterranean-style cooking than they currently receive. Let's start with the bioactive compounds, because this is where shiitake really distinguishes itself. Lentinan, a polysaccharide found in shiitake, has been studied extensively for immune-modulating properties. We're talking about compounds that appear to enhance the activity of certain immune cells, potentially improving the body's ability to fight infections and possibly even supporting cancer treatment outcomes. Now, I need to be clear, eating shiitake mushrooms is not a cancer treatment, but the compounds they contain are being researched in clinical settings as adjunct therapies. Aritatinine is another compound unique to shiitake that shows cholesterol-lowering effects through multiple mechanisms. It appears to reduce cholesterol synthesis in the liver and enhance cholesterol excretion. This aligns beautifully with the cardiovascular protective effects we see consistently in Mediterranean diet research. You're essentially getting a functional food that actively supports the same health outcomes the Mediterranean pattern is famous for achieving. The vitamin D content is particularly interesting and often misunderstood. Shiitake contain ergosterol, which converts to vitamin D2 when exposed to ultraviolet light, either sunlight or UV lamps. If you buy fresh shiitake and place them gill side up in direct sunlight for several hours before cooking, you can significantly increase their vitamin D content. Dried shiitake that were sun-dried retain this vitamin D. Given that vitamin D deficiency is widespread, especially in northern latitudes, this represents a plant-based vitamin D source that's relatively rare in the food supply. From a culinary implementation standpoint, shiitake have this remarkable umami depth, that savory, meaty flavor that makes them satisfying in ways that many vegetables are not. This is crucial for people reducing meat consumption within Mediterranean patterns. When you sauté shiitake in olive oil with garlic and thyme, you're creating something that has genuine depth and richness, not a sad vegetable side dish that feels like deprivation. The dried shiitake deserve special mention. Rehydrating them in warm water creates this intensely flavorful liquid, essentially a mushroom stock that's liquid umami. Using this as the cooking liquid for risotto or farro instead of plain water or basic stock adds layers of flavor without any additional salt. You're building flavor complexity through quality ingredients rather than sodium, which is a cornerstone principle of heart-healthy Mediterranean cooking. Now, some warnings are necessary. There's a condition called shiitake dermatitis that occurs in some individuals who consume raw or undercooked shiitake. It presents as a whip-like rash and is caused by lentinan. The simple solution: always cook shiitake thoroughly. The heat degrades lentinan to a form that doesn't cause this reaction but still retains health benefits. For individuals on blood thinners or with bleeding disorders, there's theoretical concern that shiitake might enhance these effects, so discussing intake with healthcare providers is prudent. And as with any food, allergies are possible, though relatively uncommon with shiitake. The texture consideration is real. Some people find mushrooms texturally challenging, that slightly slippery quality when cooked. Roasting shiitake until they're quite brown and slightly crispy can address this, creating edges that are almost chip-like while the centers remain tender. Slicing them thinly and cooking them thoroughly can also help for those who are texture sensitive. From a sustainability standpoint, shiitake are often grown on sawdust logs or blocks, making them a relatively efficient protein and nutrient source that doesn't require arable land. When you're purchasing organic shiitake, you're avoiding the pesticides that can accumulate in conventionally grown mushrooms, which act somewhat like sponges for environmental contaminants.